Hey everybody, Mark Johnson here, founder and creative director of Able Ape Studios, back again with another artist interview. This is my second artist interview of 2019, and I'm really excited for this interview. I met this person probably 1 or 2 years ago. We were both doing the Taste of Chico, which is kind of Chico's version of giving everyone the opportunity to peruse in like a farmer's market type setting, restaurants and businesses around town that cater to people using food. And I met him being that we were both using the opportunity to promote ourselves as artists. We both have booths in the Park Plaza downtown. And, just like I try to do, I try to meet as many people who share the same interests as I do. And I met him that day. We actually had a friend in common, which is the person he was sharing the booth with. And so I just kind of got his name, got his information, started following him on Twitter, and as it came to be, knowing that I wanted to do artist interviews again, I asked him if he'd be interested in doing it, and he was down. So today's artist interview is with Pondo. He's a 2D illustrator, and he does other things other than that, but that's, I guess, his main focus. And so outside of that, I know that he has an upcoming art show on the 26th at Naked Lounge, and so we're definitely promoting that for him. And I'm hoping to get this video up and posted before that as well, so that people can see it and then who may be interested to go see him in person and see his artwork. So again, the artist we're interviewing today is Pondo. He's a 2D illustrator, and let's get started.
Thanks for having me, Mark. Glad to be here.
Awesome. So I'm just going to jump right into the questions, if you don't mind.
Go for it.
Okay. So the first question I usually ask artists is, where do you find your inspiration?
My inspiration comes from a lot of different places. I'm naturally a very curious person. My mind's just, always asking questions. I don't know if that's because I'm a Libra or an artist or just where that really stems from.
Right.
But I'm always, asking myself these questions, back and forth in my head. And most of the questions are around people, things that I see, interactions, clothes that people are wearing, things that people do, and asking myself why they did those things, or why they're wearing that thing, or what made them choose that specific color of shoe or car.
Okay.
And thinking about those stories really inspire me to create visual content to back those stories up.
Okay, so when did you know or maybe understand you could be an artist? Did you have a formal education? Were you just gifted and as a little child just kind of experimented with things?
When I was a kid, I just drew a lot just because I got joy from it.
Okay.
I moved around a lot, from East Coast to West Coast to the South. And back and forth, and art was something that I always took with me and always gave me comfort. So I necessarily didn't do it because I thought that I was good at it. I was actually not very good at it.
Okay.
But I had fun.
Yeah.
And I continued to have fun throughout the years. And it wasn't until my late teens, right after high school, that I thought, I want to make this thing my career. I want to do this, for my life.
Okay.
So that's when I started to make it a skill, and seeing that this skill was something that I could make a career.
Okay. What was the thing that you realized I can make money off of this? I can do what I'm doing, have fun at doing it, and I can start making money off of this. Was it maybe you sold something, or someone kind of commented on your work, said, "Oh, you should do that for a living"?
Kind of both, I guess. I worked in commercial art first. I worked in commercial art for a long time.
Okay.
For Fifth Sun and a couple of local companies, doing packaging, apparel, and things of that nature. And my own personal art kind of was put on the back burner. And I didn't really learn that my art had value, or I could make, my art could make money with my own art until way later down the line.
Okay.
Just because working in commercial art, you see a lot of professional, well done, completed pieces, and comparatively compare your own art to those people's art,
Okay.
and it's not good to do. That's a bad habit to have.
That's the worst thing to do.
Yeah, you don't want to compare yourself to others and their path in life. So I was just stuck in that mindset.
Okay.
And until one day a friend of mine told me, hey, there's some local shows opening up, you should give it a shot, just do it. And I decided to have an art show at Naked Lounge. It was my very first art show.
Nice.
2015, I believe.
Okay.
And it was wonderful. It was stressful as hell.
Yes.
And bit off more than I could chew, but at the end I was really happy, and I found out that my art does have value for some people.
Right. I can tell you about stress. I know about that. And, what I'm saying? I mean, because you definitely want to impress, but at the same time, I think sometimes you end up trying to do more, like more pieces, or even more in-depth kind of pieces. So yeah, that definitely happens with working an art show. Okay, so we kind of asked this question, but what is your go-to medium?
My go-to medium off the cuff is probably graphite, because I love sketching. I just love the freedom of sketching. I'm a real idea generator.
Okay.
And sometimes I even have trouble fleshing out ideas into a finished product, because my mind is constantly producing new ideas. So sketching is really fulfilling to me, because I can just produce ideas and let them go and move on very quickly and be fulfilled with them. So graphite is probably the top of the list.
Okay.
But after that, ink, charcoal, love those. Markers, love those. I'm more prone to pens, wood, something I can hold on to.
Okay.
Because brushes are a little too uncontrollable for me. And then on the other side, I do digital work. And
Correct.
within the computer, I usually use the Adobe Creative Suite and an iPad Pro.
Okay. On these two pieces here, these are what medium are these created from?
These started as sketches, graphite, and then all the black work, line work in the pieces are ink that I scanned in the computer and then digitally colored and printed on Z-clay prints. So these are canvas prints.
Oh, nice. Okay. So a lot of times people have people that they admire or look up to, artist-wise, or they aspire to them in some way. Are there any artists that you look up to that, not that you want their same career, but that you look at them as like, I would like to be like that, or I could be like that?
I definitely have artists that give me a lot of inspiration for different reasons, and so forth. And one of them is Ilya Kvishnov. He is a Russian digital artist who lives in Japan.
Okay.
And his work is very, very clean, very colorful and expressive, and he has a good way of capturing a moment within that piece, where it's almost like a freeze frame where you're wondering what happened before and after.
Okay.
It's an action caught in a photo, and I love that he's able to capture that. And so I aspire to be able to implement enough elements within my pieces that you can build a story around them like he does.
Okay.
There's also Lois Van Barl. She is a Canadian illustrator, and she has a really good technique for implementing texture and feel within her digital pieces. And I really admire that as well.
Legacy. So when you pass, what would you like your legacy to be, or what would you like to be able to leave as an artist?
I think I would like to be able to leave a platform of some sort for younger artists to kind of, I guess, not avoid the same hurdles that I've had in my artistic career, but have more help to get past them.
Okay.
I don't necessarily know how that will come to be, but I think that would be a great legacy to leave behind. Just some kind of helping hand for younger artists in the future to.
It's like maybe like a foundation, maybe like a what do they call it?
Maybe
Sponsorship,
an art collective of sorts, a group where there's just opportunities for artists to come and use maybe it's equipment,
right,
or maybe they're just marketing techniques taught to them, but just something to help them along the way.
Okay. So that kind of leads into the next question would be, do you have a message for younger artists? Kind of maybe based off your own experience, or
yes. I'd say something that I dealt with a lot when I was first starting to like try to make a career out of my art was overthinking myself, overthinking plans, and spending so much time trying to wait for the perfect moment to, leave my job and go on my own, or begin a series of art, or move to digital, or just overthinking things and just not doing. And it would get to the point where I overthought myself to just not doing it at all.
okay,
So my message would be to just start small. Start small. Just take that first step, and once you take that first step, the rest of the journey will be a lot easier.
right? Yeah, no, that's definitely true. You got to take that first step, because outside of just putting some action toward maybe a goal or a vision, that's the only way you're going to be able to complete that, is to kind of take that first step.
Yeah. Look, most people don't know that, things that come that are successful, art ventures, anything in life really, is a minor part of it is the idea, is the thought of it. The major part is the action. And if you're spending most of your time thinking about it, not doing it,
I'm going to get to it.
Yeah.
About meeting is, what is your favorite place to eat? And I'll explain why I asked that question as you answer.
Locally?
Yes, locally. Chico.
Right now, I am a huge fan of Aonami Sushi downtown.
Okay.
Yeah, their stuff is always fresh, delicious, and they always kind of, give you new options and new experiences with the rolls that they make.
Right. Good. The reason I asked that question is because a lot of times, well, maybe not a lot of times, but I asked the question in a sense to kind of see what kind of like culture inspires a person, like food-wise.
Mm-hmm.
Because maybe the food, obviously sushi is kind of an artistic kind of the situation right there. Saying you got the rolls, you got all the different type of sushi, and it's an art form. It's just a different type of art form.
It really is.
Right?
Yeah. If I say all the time, if I wasn't like a visual artist, illustrator, I would definitely be a chef.
Right.
Probably a sushi chef.
Right.
Yeah,
So it's and that's kind of the whole reason why I'm doing these artist interviews, is to kind of try or interview different type of artists that do different type of art. Be it photography, 2D, painting, and see what can be gathered that is the same all the way through.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing that I came up with. That I was like, I want to interview these people and see what we can find that everyone has similar. Be it processed, be it food that they eat, or later as we get on places they like to travel, or culture, that kind of thing. Okay. Well. So
Yeah, I can say really quickly in saying that, the sushi, and you saying cultural things that inspire you. Japanese art, anime, art is a huge inspiration to me.
Okay.
Fashion, I love street fashion, graffiti, things like that, also really huge inspirations to me. So although I do, pull inspiration from people and interactions and conversations, things like that, there are like things from pop culture and stuff that also inspire me. Inspiration is really all around you.
Right, it is. It can be really be anything.
Yeah.
And I think that it's at the same time, when you have maybe something that's more specific to you as the artist, you can see it in your art.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what's also cool, is that it just kind of comes out in the art. Okay, so best and worst experience as an artist.
Best and worst. My best experience as an artist would have to be my second art show, which was the same. Well, it was the next year, so 2016. It was at Argus Patio and Bar.
Nice.
Love that spot.
Yes.
You know, it's a huge favorite of mine. And it was their first art show. It was my second art show, so I was very new to the scene.
Right.
You know, and I completed all my work on time. You know, I marketed the crap out of it, and it had a wonderful turnout. You know, I completely sold out.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, that was amazing.
That's nice.
And you know, I met a lot of wonderful people, got a lot of good feedback, made some connections that, you know, are still very valuable to me today. It was just a win all across the board. There was really nothing that I could say I didn't meet my expectations in that venture.
Okay.
And
good. Yeah, Argus is a nice spot.
Yeah.
That's on the patio too?
Yeah.
Yeah, killed it. Okay, so what was your worst experience as an artist?
My worst experience is a little harder to come up with because I tend to try to take negative experiences that happen in my career and learn from them, take what I can from them, act upon them, and then move forward, move on.
Yeah.
But very recently, I had another show opportunity in San Francisco at Folsom. And it was a collaborative show, which I love collaborative shows because you learn so much from people you're working with. And I had to turn down because I had, you know, pre-established agreements that I had to still fulfill here. And I don't like, you know, turning down any opportunity, especially a collaborative one. So I'd say that's probably my worst as of now.
Right. Yeah, that would be tough. San Francisco.
Yeah. But it is a recurring opportunity too.
Oh,
so
okay.
hopefully I can, you know, reach out to them again and see if it's still a possibility.
And Folsom is an art gallery, I'm assuming?
It's kind of like a bar, like nightclub, art kind of scene. It's like a little cultural, like, you know, scene.
Okay.
Food, art, music. My most ideal working space would be white walls, a lot of space. I can get very like, I don't know, I would hate to say OCD-ish, but very stuck on having just space. I like, you know, white space, clean, like minimal, you know, feeling. I don't like clutter. So, yeah, a lot of room, white walls, probably near Metropolis, like downtown, maybe in like Tokyo or something like that.
Don't let me stop you. Go for it, bro.
Yeah, Tokyo, huge room, white walls, lots of shelf space, some plants, a lot of plant life in there. I don't know. I could, yeah. Maybe I might take like one day just take a blueprint and just start building this, you know,
That's what I'm talking about. Put that in the universe.
Yeah.
All right. So, as an artist in the era of social media, how do you use your social media to promote your art or your work?
I use social media probably not as much as I should use it.
Okay.
I do, you know, have platforms that I dedicate a lot of my time on, like YouTube, Instagram, especially, Twitter. But content is, you know, king in social media.
Yeah.
And, you know, I need to produce more content. But on the other hand, I do make sure that I market myself, you know, well, and by saying that I send the content that I do have towards people that I feel that will be interested in my content, and I interact with them as they interact with me. So just interacting, making sure that you're sharing your work, your process, communicating with people, and yeah.
Yeah, I saw on your YouTube page that you do like a lot of the videos where you show your drawings, like the speed drawings. Those are pretty good. I've seen those ones are the ones that people watch.
Yeah,
it's just kind of really engaging to see someone create something right in front of your eyes. So
totally. I try to. I like to be transparent, you know, and invite people to, you know, give feedback, ask questions, ask for feedback. You know, any of the things. I just try to like put put my work and myself out there for anyone that it can help.
Nice. Just to add on to that question, would have been out of using the social media, did you gain like any opportunities or like to do a commission, or like I'm assuming the one out of San Francisco was possibly someone you already knew?
That was through Instagram. I've had, a good many of commissions and opportunities through Instagram. Instagram is really important. It's visually based, only on your phone.
Yes.
They make it so that if you're an artist, you should definitely have an Instagram. I would advise that to any visual artist.
I like the fact that it's more visual compared to any other platform.
Just as if you're in music at all, have a SoundCloud. If you're doing any video, have a YouTube, Instagram, visual art.
Right. What are the techniques that you think that, well, not you think that, but you use to continually get better as an artist? I mean, do you have, like in the books that you were showing us, they have that sketch work, that regular sketch work. Is that something that maybe you incorporate, or maybe something else?
I do studies. They call it building your visual library.
Okay.
I won't say nobody, because there might be some prodigy out there that can just draw a human body at the age of 5, but I can't. So I look at content, I look at anatomy, I look at structures, things, and I draw them, I replicate them over and over again to the point that my mind has something to pick and pull from when I want to draw from just, nothing, and create from my head. So I do studies a lot, at a coffee shop or environment studies, and just try to, get more comfortable expanding my mind and creating things that are semi-realistic but also have, a lot of my imagination and touch in it as well.
Nice. I like that. I like the combination of real world and imagination put together, because that creates very interesting stuff.
On the other hand, though, I've been trying to stall. I've been trying to draw more just from imagination. I think that's a huge thing you don't want to lose as well. A lot of people do so much realistic drawing and so many things, studies and technical drawings, that it's really hard to pull just from feeling and emotion.
Okay.
And so I've been trying to just draw from my emotion and my feelings as well.
And so you talk about emotion. So what's the one that I may have skipped over, but when you're working in the studio, do you listen to music? I'm assuming you listen to music.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely. I most certainly listen to music, and it is usually very sad music.
Okay.
Like synthwave or like lo-fi stuff, ambient things like that. I tend to like music that's in the background, something that's not, in the forefront of my mind. It's something that kind of I can move to, slowly, draw and pace myself with. But listening to an artist that I'm also a huge fan of, that goes by Proko.
Okay.
He spoke about how sometimes music can subconsciously distract us, and so I've been trying to spend a little bit of time when I first started drawing in silence and just focusing purely on my art before I start, to get the music going and get in the groove and get the gears going,
Okay.
So yeah.
See, I appreciate having the music in the back as background music. So sometimes what I do is turn music on in a different room and then do the artwork in another room, so that it's not necessarily where I'm at, and it does have a sense of being even more background.
Yeah.
I like the lo-fi. I definitely appreciate the lo-fi.
Yeah, that's synthwave stuff.
Yeah. So what's your daily routine like? How do you help yourself stay focused as an artist?
Just recently, I've begun doing art as my only, form of income, job, whatever. So
Take the leap.
I definitely took the leap, but it has definitely changed my daily routine. But I try to keep it in the same structure. I treat my art as my job, because it is my job. So in the morning, I typically get up 9, 8, some days 10, other days. And I start with emails, coffee, look them over, kind of get my brain going. Then I go to the gym, got to sitting, sitting a lot. So I like try to get a little physical before, get the blood flowing.
Nice.
And then I just sit down and go to work, like at least 4 or 5 hours before I take a break, go have lunch, and then I might return to the studio after that, get some more work done.
No, that's a full schedule. I like that. Do you have any ideal projects that you could share? Ideal projects that you're working on that you could share, or if not, then what you would like to tackle? Like say you had, I would love to do a mural on such and such wall, if that's your thing, but...
I have projects that I'm doing at the moment that I would love to share. I'm working on an art show at Naked Lounge.
Okay.
First place I have my art show. It's going to be, my last one this year. And it's a portrait art show. It was kind of like an installation or residency where I set up in the back and I was doing portraits for 2 weeks, live portraits, and showcasing the portraits in the exhibition.
Nice.
So that exhibition is going to be July 26th.
So that's coming out real quick.
Yeah, we're going to apparently.
Okay.
And yeah, it's wonderful. Please come, if you can.
Yeah.
And ideally, a project that I would love to work on is having some kind of exhibition in LA or Tokyo where I have my solo show, my art up, but also kind of release like a drop with our fashion clothing line drop with Adidas or Off-White or the Hundreds or like one of them, like this collaborative project at the same time as my exhibition. That would be a wonderful. I hope 5 years from now I'll look back on this and I'm like, got it.
It's out there in the universe now.
Yeah.
I actually watched a complex blueprint video on YouTube. Bobby
Hundreds? Yeah.
How he started the process.
Yeah, he's a beautiful soul. Really, really just awesome guy.
Places you like to go or travel to gain more inspiration. Knowledge as an artist.
Definitely Japan.
Okay.
I'm actually moving to Japan for a couple months. This coming September. So that one is checked.
Yeah.
After Japan, Africa, Cape Town, Africa. I really want to visit there.
That's a good one.
New Orleans. I went there before, but I would love to visit New Orleans.
Is there family in any of these places?
In New Orleans, yeah. In Japan or Africa,
France.
No, but I just did that 23andMe and found out that there's some ancestors there, there's some family there, So yeah, I guess I just don't know.
All right. How do you deal with haters or critics or people who give critiques but they're non-artists?
I address them accordingly. If it's something that I feel that can benefit me, as an artist, you're going to get criticism. If you put yourself out there, if you put your work out there, you're going to get criticism. And your art is so subjective to you that almost anything that's said that doesn't completely align with how you feel or how you see it can seem a little hurtful. So I try to take a step back, look at what they're saying objectively and see if it, helps me at all or if it benefits me, and see if it's coming from a negative place. And if it isn't, then I take it in and, I might agree with it, might not. If I do, then I, act on it. But if it's just negativity and just hateful talk or whatever, I just move on. Don't waste my time.
No, I totally agree. I think it also, for me, depends on who it's coming from. If I know them, I don't know them, but who they are compared to me.
Yes. Do I trust this person's word?
Right.
Yeah.
And then I think the next thing would be, if it's going to be helpful to me, I'll use it. If it's not something that I can, grasp or can actually do something about, then I just kind of let it go. Like kind of how you're saying.
Exactly.
That's kind of how do you see yourself in the future?
Wise sage or something. I see myself very active. A lot of projects. I'm a busybody, so I like to keep myself, moving.
looks like you're getting a chance to travel, so that's gonna
Totally.
add to the
Totally. A nice little studio setup, maybe pushing some kind of clothing line on a smaller scale, and just doing art shows, being in the community, whatever community I'm in at that time, and just staying active.
And I guess lastly, do you have any parting words? Like that you would want to share with people? I know we had talked about what you would share with the younger artists or youth, but maybe just have some parting words for people viewing this.
Should I think of something?
The last words of Pondo.
I'd say something that's important to me as an artist is to learn how to not put so much faith or look forward to the end result of things so much, and learn how to find most of my enjoyment in the process. Because if I enjoy the process and just put my all into the process, usually the end result is 10 times better than I could have imagined when I first began a project.
Okay.
So just learn how to enjoy the process, and when the goal is reached, move on and start the next thing.
Very good. Thank you very much, Pondo.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so there you have it. My artist interview with Pondo. Hopefully you found this art interesting. I definitely did. I mean, seeing the studio space was actually really inspiring, and actually get to hear him, hear the excitement in his voice as he talks about getting the chance to go to Tokyo and go to Japan. It's very exciting, very empowering. I wish him the best. And again, I hope you enjoyed this video or this interview. If you did, definitely give it a thumbs up. If you like what I'm doing with the channel, definitely subscribe. And what we'll do, like we do with all artist interviews, we'll leave links and information where you can find Pondo and his artwork in the description box below. Pondo definitely has an art show this coming Friday, Friday the 26th. At Naked Lounge. It goes from 8 to 11. I definitely try to plan to be there, and if you're interested and you like this interview today, definitely try to show up and meet him in person and see his artwork. Yeah, like we always do at this time, have a blessed day. See you on the flip side. Let's go.